all my children the soap opera because Grandma would want to watch the soap opera. I'd want to watch the Cub game and watch the Cubs lose because I'm a Cardinal fan. So we would swap between the two. And it was a very valuable time for me with my grandma. And the time really did sort of pass once you got used to the routine because it also, affected my family because everything evolved around the living room with me being in the hospital bed. And so when you think about it, life is like a weeble wobble. I'm aging myself a bit. For those that don't know what a weeble wobble is, it's this blow up doll type thing that came in different, this one was a bozo, but it came in all kinds of characters. And when you hit it, it'd fall down, but it always bounced back up. And that's what we have to do in life. We have to be able to bounce back up because we are always going to have challenges in front of us. But it's also how you think about that challenge. Do you see it as a challenge or do you see it as an opportunity? And during this time, if you think about it, there's a lot of people who have lost their jobs, who are in financial straits, and they don't know where their next rent's coming from. You have other people who have lost loved ones or have loved ones in the hospital that are lingering and hopefully are going to pull through the COVID. And then you have the regular life problems that happen, within family and friends, just regular life. So it is a challenging times. And also, as you feel like the weeble wobble's laying down, it probably is for a lot of reasons. You have to really think about how to pick yourself up. Kind of like in that summer, I felt like my weeble wobble was down the whole summer. And when was I going to pop back up? And when you think about it, even though there's a lot of emphasis in life on being independent, and especially for children, we always tell our children we want you to be independent. I would argue that the most successful life is an interdependent one. We all depend on people for different things, and people depend on us. We thrive because of people, not in spite of them. The goal in life is not just to survive, it's actually to thrive. And people help us do that. And if you think about all the things that you've been successful at, how many times have you done it all by yourself with no involvement and no help? Can you think of a time? I can't, because everything I've ever been successful at, there were a lot of people behind me, every step of the way. So an interdependent life means that we can lean on people, people support us, and we can actually reach our goals and thrive in life. So when you think about independence, I want you to think about being interdependent and think about all the people who have helped you along the way and who you have helped, because it's a two-way street. And in my book, I talk a lot about the people who have helped me along the way and what they've done for me and how I've tried to return that help. Because as being a leader at Caterpillar, I believe in servant leadership, where our job is to serve others. And I also believe that in my private life, my personal life, that I think we're all here to serve others. Because people need each other, especially during times like this, where we have to reach out to people and make sure they're okay or help them in some way. Have you checked on your neighbors? Have you checked on, some people who are older who you might be worrying about? Don't be afraid to reach out to them, because remember, interdependence is the key to thriving in life. When you think about the people around you, when I grew up, we sat down at the dinner table every night. And my parents would always ask us about our day. And when you're in grade school, for instance, the funniest thing that happened during the day was when Johnny puked in the hallway. Remember when somebody puked and it was the talk of the school the whole rest of the day? And so when parents would ask us what happened, my sister and brother and I all went to the same grade school for quite a number of years. So we'd all know when somebody puked. And we'd just talk about it at dinner. And finally my parents would say, okay, that was interesting. Okay, what else happened in school? Or what issues are you challenged with? And it was really this kitchen table concept that really helped me form the thought process of how I deal with my challenges. Are people going to stare at me? How am I going to get through this subject, etc.? And so as I've gone through life, I noticed that I have a kitchen table around me. It's a small group of people that I depend on for when I have something that's quite challenging or something that's even good. You're thinking about buying a new car, for example, and should you or shouldn't you? Or should you take this vacation? Or should I propose to someone? You have this small group of people that you really go to first, and I call that my kitchen table. And we all should have a kitchen table. And your kitchen table changes as you go through life, and it depends on the subject that you're struggling with or you have an opportunity for. Because you swap people in and out depending on what it is you're facing. And it's an interesting concept that from childhood I always felt like I have a kitchen table. When something happens, I have these few people I know I can pick up the phone and call. And I want to be in the kitchen table for other people as well. I want people to know that I'm there and they can call me when they need me. And so think about your kitchen table and how it's changed throughout your life and depending on what you're facing. So it's an interesting concept. And don't forget to be a part of other people's kitchen table to give back. Also, we have this stigma about asking for help, that it's a sign of weakness. And I believe that asking for help is a strength, not a weakness. I ask for help every single day, especially for the physical stuff. Standing 4 feet tall, I do have my challenges. And you can see them, but I have other challenges that you can't see. Don't think that my size is my only challenge. We all have challenges during the day. And when you think about it, your kitchen table is there to help you, your family is there to help you, your friends, and any other type of person or resource that you can reach out to. Don't be afraid to ask for help, especially during this time. If you read about all the counseling services and things like United Way's 211, their call volume has doubled during this pandemic because people are finding themselves in situations that they never dreamed that they would be in, and yet they're reaching out for help. But then you have people who don't reach out for help, and we really need to be aware of the people around us so that we recognize when someone might need something. The worst thing is to find out that somebody's suffering and you didn't know about it. And it's okay to say, hey, I'm just checking in. Is there something I can do? So remember, one of the greatest strengths is to ask for help, because that is the greatest thing you can do for yourself and for others, is to ask for help and also be there to help others. Make the first move. Everything I've talked about up to now, if you notice, it's about you taking that first step. And believe me, that first step is most of the time the hardest one to take. It takes a lot of courage to take the first step, whether it's to ask for your kitchen table or to call someone, to call 211, or just say, I need help, I'm struggling. And it really is hard to make that first move. But when you think about making the first move, what do you have to lose? You don't have anything to lose but to go ahead and take that first step towards getting whatever it is that you need. And so when you walk into a room and say you're going to a reception, do you search out people who look like you or someone you thought you might be able to connect with? Or are you the type of person that goes up to someone that's totally different than you and you want some diversity in thought and experience? I encourage you to have the courage to go up to that person you normally wouldn't go up to and start chit-chatting. Because learning new things from different people, I have found, is some of the biggest growth that I've ever had in my life. But I would tell you it's really hard to walk up to somebody I don't know, because I know in the first 10 or 15 seconds if they're going to look past my size. And sometimes they don't, and I know it. So it's just, I kind of gracefully move on. But most of the time, people are very open to everyone. So don't be afraid to step in. I know how hard it is. I think about it every single time I meet a new person. What are they going to think, and are they going to look past my size and really engage in a conversation? And humor helps with that. My parents said I was born with the gift of gab. I don't know if I was. I don't know if it's nature or nurture. Part of me thinks that because people would shy away from me, I had to learn to walk towards them, and I use humor a lot of the time. And that's a good way to start a conversation. And so when you do it, you may want to try using humor or even talk about the weather. Today when I walked in, we all were talking about the weather. And we laughed that you talk about the weather, but it's pouring down rain. So whatever you can start a conversation with and you're comfortable with, that's a way to make that first move. And as hard as it is, I think you'll find that it really works and you start to get confidence. And you also start to build your village. Once you get past your kitchen table, the next group of people, which is a larger group of people, I call it my village. They're the ones that also walk with you through your life's journey. And I have a whole village behind me that's made my career and my life successful. I certainly didn't do this by myself because it wouldn't have happened. So I have a very large village through my life that has helped me be very successful in what I want to do. But it also takes the first move. So try different things as you make your first move. What works for you? And don't be afraid to try it. And if something doesn't work, you try the next thing. So I want to talk about perspective. The title of my book, Looking Up, is really about not just that I've looked up to people because most people are taller than me, literally my whole life, but it taught me to look up to people figuratively. We all have value, every single one of us. And we have to let our preconceived notions go away when you meet somebody and peel that onion and think about who is this person and what can I learn from them and what can they learn from me. But it's all about that perception when you walk up to somebody. I know what a lot of people think when they see me. Look at that little person. What does she do or who is that? And I get that. But I also want you to get that there's much more to me than my size because I'm a show first. I just happen to be a little person. And we all happen to be something, right? So being little doesn't define me. It's just a part of who I am. And your perception really can lead you down a very good path, or it can lead you down a path that isn't so positive. But it's all about you and how you look at that situation and how you look at that person. Because we all have value. So when you walk in a room or your boss gives you an assignment or during the pandemic something's not going right with your business or something, are you viewing that as a challenge and a problem? Or are you saying, you know what, we have an opportunity here. Let's relook at how we're doing things. And think about all the new businesses that have sprouted up during this pandemic. The restaurants who now have carry-out are going to continue to do carry-out. Businesses that have totally changed their business model to adjust to people not being able to come to the store. And their online business is booming globally because of some things that they changed. Also, think about all the positive things that are happening in the world. When you turn on the news, granted the first 20 minutes is news and all that other stuff, but then they always have a story at the end. I wish they'd start with a good story and end with a good story. At the end, they always have someone that is helping a neighbor, or some children have a lemonade stand so that they can donate money to the food bank. Think about all the good in your neighborhood where people are reaching out and helping people. They're going to the store with the older folks, so the older folks don't have to go and possibly get COVID. They're going to the store for them. Or the stores now are delivering to us more than they ever have. And it's all because our perception is, while this is not an ideal time in many ways, it is an ideal time for innovation. Innovation in your business, and innovation in our personal lives, and innovation in how we're thinking and how we're perceiving this situation. So whatever you're thinking, if you twist your perception just a little bit, you maybe will see an opportunity instead of a challenge. And we fight this every day. So this picture you see was President Obama wanted to expand a program of his called 100,000 Strong that supported students to study globally. The Caterpillar Foundation was a funder of that. So they wanted 3 companies to come in along with some educational folks to talk about how they could expand the program. Well, they asked Caterpillar to come, and since I was the president of the foundation, I went into the White House to talk about it. And while I'm sitting there, you forget who you're with, and I'm really deep into the discussion. We're in the Roosevelt Room, which is next to the Oval Office. And usually if you're in the Roosevelt Room, the president does make an appearance at some time, and he was supposed to come in for about 5 minutes. And I completely forgot, because I'm really talking about the program, and I was getting excited when the door flies open, and in walks the president. And he says, "Hello, folks." And even though I knew, it stunned me for a second. And I thought, how did I go from Washington, Illinois, to Washington, D.C., with the President of the United States? And it was because of the work of the Caterpillar Foundation and the impact that the program was having. And he stayed in there for 45 minutes, way past his time. His aides were all getting nervous and doing all their dancing, trying to get his attention. And we came up with some really brilliant ideas during that total hour that really is going to impact a lot of students. And it makes you feel really good when you have an opportunity to have an impact on people you don't even know, but you do know it's a good program. So during this time, I also want you to think, how can I make a bigger impact on others? Because there's no better feeling than to know that you've helped someone. Finally, I'd like to leave you with one of my favorite African proverbs. And it talks about no matter how dark and long the night, the dawn will always break, and that no one can dim your personal light within us. And what I mean by that is, well, we are in the most challenging time. Who would have ever thought that you could wear a mask and go into a bank and ask for money? Who would have ever thought that? But you can. Think about it. 8 months ago, you would have been in prison. Now you can't go in a bank without a mask. So let's laugh about what we have and embrace the challenges that we're facing, because this is going to break. It's probably not going to break for a while, and it's not going to break all at once. And that's okay. Think of the time we're spending with our family and friends that we never would have had. Never. And you have to spend time now with family and friends. And we're all embracing that as a gift. We have been given a gift of a lifetime. Before, everybody was running through life and not enjoying what we have with our blessings. So the dawn will break through this, and I want you to hang on to that thought. And keep looking up, because the view is great. Thank you.
Just stay here, Michelle.
Okay, good. I like questions.
While I maybe can
Okay.
get this up. We're going to be, hey guys, we're going to be, let me figure this out here real quick. I see the hearts flying. They love you,
Yeah, I see the
Michelle.
heart.
Yes,
Thank you.
that's awesome. Is that a good spot right there? Okay. If this works out right, we're going to be able to see some questions in the screen. I can see them. I see Jen Trevarthen says, fabulous. Thank you for sharing your story with us, Michelle. Thank you so much. And I'm going to kind of kick this off. I happen to have, I could see it before, then I can see the people too. We like seeing the people too. I like seeing the people and the questions. I'll kick this off, but we're going to watch the questions. They love, love, love your message.
Thank you.
I've had the privilege of getting to know Michelle a little bit over the last year, because it's probably been a year ago, Michelle, that you were on our radio show.
Right.
And you shared a story on the radio show that you really didn't elaborate on today.
Which one?
I'm going to, yeah. So the first thing you said was the doctor sent you home with your parents and said, treat her like nothing's
Everybody
wrong.
else, yep.
Which, that's great advice.
Yep.
Really,
Well,
truly.
Back then it was a surprise, because they didn't do that. I was born now, I'll tell you, in the 60s, and that wasn't real acceptable back then.
Right.
Yeah.
When someone had a disability
Yeah.
of any sort, right?
Yep.
And so that was like your first gift was that really
Yep.
that doctor.
Totally.
But your parents obviously did an amazing job. following that guideline because then you shared the story and you just lightly touched base on it when the kids shared that. But you went to kindergarten,
Right.
not even knowing that you were different.
I did.
Can you really help them?
Yeah.
Can you bring them into that kindergarten class?
Sure.
Because that's a great story.
So I was excited about going to school because my big brother went to school. My younger sister obviously wasn't in school yet. So I jumped out of the car and I walked in, walking down the hall with my chest out like I own the place. And I met the teacher and she goes, go in and play with the kids till everybody gets here. So I said, great. You know, I went in and I literally plopped down. I remember it like it was yesterday. And then we got in the circle and was playing, and it wasn't very long. And the boy next to me stopped and he said, "Wait, why do you look so different? Why are you little?" And I'm looking behind me, going, "I don't know who he's talking to." So I kept playing. I had no idea he was talking to me. And he said it again, and I kind of stopped, and then the girl on the other side of me said, "Yeah, why are you so little?" And I didn't know what to think. I mean, it totally. I could see feel my shoulders shrinking, and all my confidence just went out.
Right.
And by the end of the morning, I'm on the outside of the circle, not understanding what just happened. Yeah. So I get out to the car, and my mom goes, "So how did it go?" And I go, "Is there something wrong with me?" Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's funny, people tell you when there's something wrong with you. But then, you know, over the next few days, kids get over it.
Right.
They really do. And so it really became, you know, a non-issue. And then I think it was first or second grade, we'd play the game, it's a math game called Around the World. And the teacher would show a flashcard. You stood next to a desk, and whoever got the answer right went on to the next desk. And I found out I was great at math. I won every time. And I just made my way around. And I began to understand what my parents would say is, you know, it's not just about your size. You can still do everything, maybe a little different. And I started to understand, but as a kid, you don't totally understand. So I then became known as the smart girl, not the little girl.
Ah.
And then things, you know, and I knew that I had, you know, I've been gifted with, you know, a great brain to learn and everything. And so I knew that that was a key for me. And I knew I wasn't going to have a physical job. And that for me, my only choice was an education. And so, and I felt like I needed to get a master's to be equal with people who had like a bachelor's. So at 23, during graduate school, I co-opted IBM. And then I got on a CAT. So at 23, I'd worked at IBM CAT, and I had my master's. And I felt, okay, I think I'm pretty even now. I should be able to compete. And I could.
Yeah.
And it went from there.
And you focused on your positive.
Yeah.
And the other thing is when you had some adversity, when the kids said, "Why are you
Yeah.
so small?"
Oh,
Right?
it's stunning.
Remember this morning? Can you guys go way back to this morning when we were talking about Ruth and the adversity that Naomi, her mother-in-law, faced, and they had these choices to
Right.
make. And so, with some encouragement, probably from your parents,
yeah.
you made the decision to say,
Yeah.
"I'm going back."
Yep. It's a process, though.
Yeah.
I mean, when you get stared at, you hate going out.
Ah.
Hate going out. Yeah. Even today, my sister's here. She'll tell you. You can tell where I'm at when I go around. Well, they say they hear me because of my voice, but you can tell by the people looking at me in, you know, restaurant or whatever, that you know where I'm at. So it's just part of the process.
Yeah, interesting. We have a couple of questions. Yes. So Kathy Lehman is saying, can you say more about Peel the Onion?
Sure. Yep. So, you know, when you first meet someone, we all have preconceived notions. And some good, some bad, and some just neutral. And yet, you let those sometimes prevail over anything that you hear that person saying. And what I'm suggesting is that you really try to walk up to someone and not have those preconceived notions. And we're facing a lot of that, as you know, right now with the division of our country, you know, for equality. That we all have these preconceived notions and we're not giving equal opportunity to everyone. And so what I'm suggesting is peel the onion and don't let what you see steer your ideas of who that person, all those ideas, who that person really is.
Yeah.
I want you to be open and really get to know them. And also, when someone's mad at you or in a situation that's not a good situation, I always, like at work, I always told my team this. When someone's upset with us, don't react to their being upset. I want you to go behind them and try to figure out what's caused them to be upset. And then let's deal with that situation. We have to let them be angry or upset, but then let's figure out why they're upset and how we can fix it. And for instance, you can't, if someone's, upset or something, and you can't say, well, don't feel that. You shouldn't feel that way. You can't say that to someone because they are feeling that way. They're feeling that way for a reason. So you can't say, oh, don't feel that. You shouldn't feel that way. Don't feel that way. But they are feeling that way. So find out why they're feeling that way and then try to help that. That's what I mean by peel back the onion. Let your mind be free and don't have preconceived notions about someone or a situation, because I get that every day. And people have no idea, about me or anything.
That's amazing. The comments are pouring in. Julie does have a question. Julie Drake, she says, as strong as you sound and apparently are by what you have just shared, can you address how you handle those times when the staring or other things get to you? How do you personally bounce back? So when you're feeling that overwhelmed, feel like, oh my Lord, the whole room's staring at me, where do you find where do you draw from?
Sometimes, most of the time, I try to let it go. But there are times, I have bad days. And you're just like, and you try not to answer back. You try, instead of responding to their comments or staring, the bigger education moment for me is to not respond in a negative way. But either try to say, hi, I'm Michelle, or just, walk away quietly when you really want to go in strongly, but nothing's going to come of that. So I try to remember that the higher educational moment is to be kind about it and not react, or at least try to reach out and say, I'm Michelle first.
Make the first move.
You do make the first move, but it doesn't always work. I mean, I have people who follow me or other things, and there are times when you have to go get help or, to get somebody, kind of away from you. And Deanna's been there in those situations as well as my family. And so there are some situations I can't take on by myself, and hopefully people around can help. But that's a rare moment. But most of the time I try to let it go. But let me tell you, there are days that I don't.
Yeah, I hear ya. Cindy says we need to have what are called learning conversations.
Yes.
Oh, I love that, Cindy. It's so true, to gain mutual understanding. But then she also
that's happening today.
Yes.
But there needs to be a lot more for the equity and equality discussions that we're really trying to get into. And I think we all have a role in those discussions, by the way. All of us.
Yeah, I agree. Cindy says, can you give an example of how you've helped someone else look up to see an opportunity versus a challenge?
Sure. So I'm involved in an organization. My parents got me involved at age 12, and it's called the Little People of America. It's obviously for people under 410 who are born with skeletal dysplasia, for example. And LPA has helped me more than anything in terms of really seeing people who truly feel what I feel. And so recently a friend of mine is going through quite a family event. And it's funny because people think it's different. It's because you're little. It's the same event that other people are going through too. And so when you think about it, I was telling her, but on the other side of this, you're going to be happier. And you're going to be able now to thrive again. And so you really have to help a person think on the other side of a problem. But during that time, it's hard. And you just have to keep reinforcing it. But you also have to let them vent back to you.
Yeah.
And, today's a bad day, such and such happened. And I say, well, I'm sorry, what else happened today? And, how did you feel? Yeah, and things like that. And, that was just last week. So you just have to keep the dialogue going and be open about it.
Yeah. I love the comments coming through because they say they think we should have a purple table conversation.
Yep, there you go.
A purple
Instead of
table
a red table, have a
conversation.
purple.
I
Yep.
love that. That's
I
so
like that.
awesome.
Yep, I agree with that.
just, I want to share something too. That's just on my heart. It's just off the cusp here. All of you know Kurt, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Kurt and I have been working together. I met Kurt right here at Whitecast Studio, which, come on over, Kurt. Maybe you can, if you stand right on the other side of Michelle, I think everybody can see you, or maybe, yeah. So anyway, the funny thing is, can you guys see Kurt back there? Yeah. Yeah. All right. Awesome. There. Okay. So we're at Whitecast Studio today. And so before we wrap up the day, I don't want to wrap up the day without saying thank you to Tim Johnson. Yes, with some help from Dean Hefta and my husband, Joe Martin. They have helped us, I think, put on almost a perfect virtual conference for the very first one. So we've done a lot of work down at Whitecast Studio with Tim with our vodcast. And a couple years ago, some of you may have been in this very room when Tim and I did a lunch and learn about why you should have your own podcast. And guess who walked in? And I met for the very first time. And that would be Kurt. And he reminded me of that today when we were sitting behind the desk listening to one of the earlier speakers. He said, remember, we met right there. And the funny thing is I share this because maybe people are uncomfortable when you meet someone with a disability. You don't know what to say. You don't know what their needs are.
Or a different ethnicity or religion. Same thing.
Oh, absolutely.
And you make judgments.
Oh, so good, Michelle. You can apply religion, ethnicity. You can apply all of those things. I see the hearts flying. Yes. You can apply all of those things to that uncomfortable feeling like I'm not sure what to say. And I had a moment in my mind where I had a decision to make. In a split second, I saw Kurt for the first time. I laid eyes on him. And in a split second, I had the decision to go, what do I say? Or what, do I walk away or do I say something? And I thank God that I think the Lord helped me out a little bit and spoke through me, that I made the decision to say, hey, Kurt, come on in. And I said, I don't know, in a really kind of weird feeling what was going to happen, but look what happened. You guys know the rest of that story. And
that's exactly, I don't know if you remember, but that's pretty much what you said is, well, what's your name and what's your story?
That might have been all I could think of to say. I'm like, I don't know what to say. Yeah. But I knew I wanted him to feel comfortable. And I think that is human nature in general.
It is.
We all want people to feel comfortable, right? We want you to feel comfortable. I didn't want Kurt to feel uncomfortable. And I didn't want him to be like that. I was sitting here going, oh my God, like what's happening here? And I wanted him to feel comfortable. And I tried to make that decision to do that, even though in my head, I wasn't real, so we can, what's the word? Fake it till you make it.
But think about it. What did you have to lose?
Right.
Yeah.
I was like,
You have everything to gain. You gain the friendship.
yes.
So that's why you make that first move.
That was exactly right. You had that choice to make that first move, even if you're uncomfortable. So I hope that encourages some of you because, we do have to make that first move. And you don't know, I keep going back to the Ruth story this morning. You don't know if you're gonna, birth the grandfather of a king. Right? When you make that first move. Ruth she decided she was going to stay with Naomi no matter what till death. And you already all know how that turned out. And so you don't know when you make the first move, my buddy. You don't know when you make the first move that you're going to be meeting that person that's going to be your person. That's going to stick this out, that's going to come alongside of you and say, you can do this and I'm going to be right here with you.
Right.
I mean, if I not met Kurt, I could really go out on a limb and tell you that I decided may not even be here today because I may have just I may have quit. I've quit how many times in the last 2 years that you've known me?
The last 2 years or last 2 weeks?
I've quit. And because of him, I kept going. So without him, we may not even all be here on our very first virtual conference today. And that's a true story that I wasn't
Right.
really even, I'm going to cry. That's a true story that I had no intention of even sharing, but that's what happens when you make the right
That's right.
choice and you
I
take
agree.
that step.
I agree.
And so now I have a partner in crime.
Well, and I just
Not
want,
to take it off of you,
Yeah,
Michelle.
that's good. That's the point. I mean,
Right.
that's the whole point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
well,
Good.
thank you for those kind words. And I just wanted to add, Michelle, it's my pleasure to have met you
Yep,
in
you too.
person today.
Yep.
And honestly, I'm kind of starstruck. You do. There's. I always get accused, and people say, "Oh, you're so inspiring," and like she just did. But you, I can say and share with confidence. I'm inspired by you.
Well, thank you.
And
I
there's
feel the
only a
same.
handful of people that I can say that about. And
Well,
so,
thank you.
thank you so much
feel
for
the same
being
about
here
you.
today.
Yep.
And how
Thank
cool
you.
is it that people our size, our stature,
Yep.
can lift up and encourage all of these people?
Exactly. And they
And
can
it's-
do the same.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
it both ways.
It works both
Yeah.
ways. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much,
Yeah,
Michelle. And hey, if you guys have been sticking it out, we have almost as many people at the end of the day as we started with. And that's really awesome. So that just says a lot. So I want to just thank you guys from the bottom of my heart. I want to tell you that we're going for it. We're not stopping. We're going to keep going. There is no quitting. I've decided no matter what, we are going to keep this ship sailing. And I am so thankful to have all of you with me. I am so thankful to you that made a decision today to join our community and become a part of our founding partners and our founding community members. That is so awesome. And we are going to get those million people and make some positive changes in our world, starting right here in Peoria. And we see those comments coming right through. So I want to say that we have selected a winner for today with a lot of help from some behind the scenes going on, people making comments, people participating, who's been throwing up the hearts. And it has been, I've seen the hearts. It's been very challenging. I want to give the prize to all of you, but I think I've been outvoted since I didn't get to see the screen the whole day. And Tim, the owner of White Cat Studio, he's been watching the screen, and he had 3 names written down that's been participating and cheering on. And it's so funny. And I didn't cheat. Well, first of all, they're going to think, when you hear the winner, you're going to think I cheated. And I'm just telling you right now that I promise I did not cheat. Tim wrote these names down. He had no idea that Tamika Faulkner was my sister Shando's daughter. And woo, I see Shando in the background. So all of you know that Shando is one of my biggest cheerleaders. And I just find that really funny that Tim did not know, and he didn't realize that Tamika was a part of that family. So Tamika, it looks like you are going to win not only this awesome copy, your very own copy, which we're going to have Michelle sign it before she leaves to Tamika of Looking Up, but Joe and I are going to take you and whoever you want to go out to an awesome dinner at Connected.
Ooh.
Woo! And if you don't want to go to dinner,
Yeah.
if you don't want to go to dinner with me and Joe, we'll give you some cold cash, okay? We'll exchange. You can decide. Your
Okay.
mom's probably going to fight you for that.
I love Connect.
It's one of our favorites, too. So, there you have it. I just find that so funny. Woo, Shadow! I didn't cheat. I promise. All right, awesome. Well, listen, we got you guys out of here early. Early is on time, right? I said that all this time. Early is on time. So we want to set an example and follow that, and we're going to get you out of here a little bit earlier than you were expecting today. And I hope you enjoyed the rest of your Saturday, and thank you guys so much. Oh, decision cards. Don't forget your decision cards. Send them back. Thank you, Michelle.
thank you. It's been
Thank
great.
you,
Thank you.
Kurt.
It's been a
Thanks.
great day.
Yes, thank you guys.
Bye.
Bye, everybody. To our new space for the garden. We are super excited to be located in our new area at 3709 North Sterling Avenue. We are in the back of Curves behind the building, behind the shopping center at Sterling Plaza is the entrance. And we just moved here and just are opening this week. We were on Pioneer Parkway, as you guys know. And we just kind of moved into a space that we feel like is a little bit better for us as far as size and location. We really just need a community room where we can meet and have our success groups and our business network meetings and our socials. So the community room, what's great about the community room is we can have our monthly success groups here, our business success groups, and our members can utilize this space first come, first serve. Included in their membership, there's no charge, and it's great space. We have a projector screen. We can seat comfortably probably 50 to 60 people. Wireless internet, so co-working space that you can pop in. Free coffee, always have free coffee at the garden. One of the big questions is, how can I decide to help you with your success? And I love that question, and I always compare success to a puzzle because it's like a puzzle. You need all these pieces connected together in order to see that picture, the complete picture, right? And success is the same way. So if we turn and look up there above the mirror, there's an empty space across the top of those mirrors. And eventually, not yet, but eventually, here soon, there are going to be puzzle pieces up there. There's going to be 10 puzzle pieces. And on those 10 puzzle pieces will be the 10 pieces of the success puzzle that we believe you need. And I've decided provides all those pieces. So that is motivation, inspiration, support, accountability, information, education, tools, resources, the right mindset, and a place to contribution. And those are the 10 pieces of the puzzle. So the reason I believe that I've decided will help you successfully achieve all of your goals and dreams is because we provide you everything that you need for success. Success is hard, as you know. Most people, only about 9% of the population actually set a goal and see it through to the end. And that's the problem that we want to solve. We want to fix that problem. We believe that everyone is capable of achieving the goals and dreams that are in your heart, and that's why we exist.
It's great to have a place to go and meet people in the community since it's hard to connect other than online nowadays. So it's wonderful to have a place where you can meet other people who are also having an influence on the community and kind of do it as a group and encourage each other. I think it's important to all work together to create the community that we want instead of always trying to do everything separately. And I love helping people in any way, making them happy and healthy, and I really think that all around the members here encourage that.
Actually, the conferences that Kim puts on have been very beneficial to me, not only spiritually, but professionally, and just everyday life, I believe. Yeah, I just love the speakers that she brings on, because to me personally, they have touched me, they've encouraged me in some way with my everyday life or my professional life.
I think it's very important because we're surrounded by excuses and defeat, and it's easy to start buying into that. But it's about who we surround ourselves by. There's a lot of things we have no choice over, but we do have a choice of building the network of people around us that move us forward.
I started with, I've decided back before even it started, because I was Kim's realtor, and so she kind of lured me into this. And at first I didn't see the big vision, but as I have transpired with her during this whole time and everything, it's been great. It's been a great journey, seeing how it's grown, how we've got new business members, community members. I've built a lot of relationships with people. I've done networking. It's been hard during these last few months because the relationships that you have built and all the people that you were seeing every couple weeks or whatever, now we're not seeing them as much, and hopefully at some point we'll get back to that. But this is great today, because I've got to see people I haven't seen for a long time, also people that I have just met and didn't get to build that relationship a little bit more in that. But I think all of it is, it's a tribe. And that's what Kim has always called it, is a tribe, and the connections. And when we're not together, we miss each other. And you could come by here anytime and use the Wi-Fi, have some coffee, sit there with your computer, meet with someone else, have a meeting. So, I mean, it's good. It's pulling us back together, and hopefully we'll get to do that soon.
For me personally, the benefit is it's allowed me an opportunity to engage with other individuals who are committed to being successful and achieving personal success and connecting with people who are running their own businesses or pursuing their own personal, professional goals. Also, one of my roles is that I host one of the podcasts, or vodcast, I guess we call it. And that has really stretched me personally and professionally, my leadership skills and being able to engage with folks in the community and interview them and bring people together and just talk about what are the great benefits of our community and try to uncover some of those jewels in our community that not so many people know about.
I've been helping Kim now for about a year and a half, and I've just been blessed from the very beginning from meeting her. My role here has been something that I cherish. It gives me something to do on a day-to-day basis. Your success is whatever we need to do, we provide the pieces of the puzzle in order for you to be successful. And her dynamic personality and the way she goes about bringing people together and being here at the garden every day and getting to meet all of you wonderful people, it's just fantastic, and it's just done world for me for being able to, for me personally, to find my purpose. It provides a bunch of people that are coming together. We're all trying to find our purpose. We're all trying to find the way to get there, and we all recognize that there's no way to do that on our own. We need to come together and work as a community, and I've decided is the perfect place to do that.